I am Dr. Momita Rai, Assistant Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Technology, JS University. This is the fifth topic of first module in the Cellular and Molecular Pharmacology, subject code MPT 1084. The topic name is Cell Death, Necrosis and Autophagy. In today's class, we will discuss about cell death, the different procedures of cell death, necrosis, autophagy in details, their mechanisms and their classifications. So first of all, we have to know what is cell death. Cell death is a necessary event in the life of a multicellular organism. Cells predominantly die via apoptosis or necrosis. The cell death is a very basic procedure to maintain the normal healthy life of any multicellular organism. This helps to maintain the homeostasis within the body, and it is a very necessary process and a regularized process to make a cell or to make a body healthy. The cell death can be mainly classified into two divisions. One is apoptosis and another one is necrosis. In today's class, we will discuss about the necrosis, and in the next lecture, we will discuss about the apoptosis. So, in a brief, the apoptosis is a form of tightly regulated, genetically controlled, self-orchestrated cell death. It is often referred to as programmed cell death. Apoptosis is a cascade of methods or a series of methods which are involved in the cell death, and this is a predetermined process, so this is called programmed cell death. Whenever the cells get degenerated or deformed of or any faulty cells or the aged cells, they are undergoing the apoptosis, which is a normal physiological procedure, and these helps to kill the faulty or degenerated or degraded molecules or degraded organelles between the cell or in the cell, and also the degraded cells also or the aged cells, so that the body will be healthier. The healthier condition and homeostasis condition within the body can be maintained. So the apoptosis in another term is called the suicide of cell. This is a planned way. So this is called the suicide, programmed cell death. But in contrast, the necrosis is the terminology for unprogrammed cell death, since it occurs accidentally in an unplanned manner. Necrosis is due to some chronic inflammation. If there is some chronic inflammation, so the cell undergoes the necrosis process. Apoptosis is not related to any inflammation, but the any trauma, injury, and due to those the different inflammation of the cell, the inflamed cell when get degraded, it undergoes the necrosis, which is an accidental case, and this is not in a planned manner. So this is called unprogrammed cell death, or in another word, it is also called murder of cell. So the apoptosis is the suicide of cell, which is a planned manner, and the necrosis is accidental, so this is called the murder of cell. Okay, just you have to remember these two terminologies so you can understand the mechanism or the purpose of these both type of cell death. Apoptosis is planned or programmed, so this is called the programmed cell death or suicide of cell. But in contrast, the necrosis is accidental and unprogrammed. So this is called the murder of cell. And apart from these two, incomplete execution of biochemical cascade leads to expression of morphological features of both apoptosis and necrosis. Some features are there, like some biochemical cascades leads to the expression of both characteristic features of apoptosis and necrosis, which is a third type of cell death known as apoptosis or aponecrosis. Apoptosis or aponecrosis is a process where both the necrosis and apoptosis like features can be seen. These are not like totally the apoptosis or not like the totally of necrosis, but both the morphological features of these can be seen in this process. This is an incomplete execution of the biochemical cascade. So the cell death in broadly can be classified as we have discussed. This is the normal cell death. This is the normal cell which may undergo apoptosis, which is a programmed cell death, where the blebbling or budding like structure is formed, and from this bud different apoptotic bodies are formed. Okay, the cell breaks apart into several apoptotic bodies which are then phagocytosed by the macrophage. No inflammation is there. The normal cell, when undergone through apoptosis process, this is a programmed cell death, it forms a blebbing or budding like structure, and the cells, these extra part is get fragmented. The fragmented parts are called apoptotic bodies which are phagocytosed by the macrophages. There is no inflammation, or the cause of these type of cell death is not any inflammation, but another process which is the necrosis, where the cell swells just because of any type of accidental injury, trauma, or inflammation. The cell get swollen, then this broken out, the plasma membrane ruptures and the cellular nuclear lysis, causing the inflammation. This is the process of necrosis, where the cell becomes swollen, then the plasma membrane ruptured and the cellular nuclear lysis causing inflammation. This is the necrosis process. So, necrosis is a spectrum of molecular changes occur in irreversibly injured cell or lethally injured cell. Okay, this process is totally irreversible. This is cannot be taken back. This process is totally irreversible. It is a type of cell death characterized on morphological basis, occurs in response to external stimuli. In response to any external stimuli, this type of cell death occurs. This is not like the apoptosis, where internally the process is done, like a programming is set within the cell, so that a programmed cell death is done in a planned manner. But in case of this necrosis, the stimuli or the factor affecting this cell death are from the outside. Some external factors are there which affecting or which is resulting this cell death. Some external stimuli causing the necrosis are like hypoxia, ischemia, infectious any agent, chemical, etc. These causing the cell death. Persistent injury causing irreversible injury leads to necrosis. Initially, any injury produced is reversible. Any type of minor inflammation or acute inflammation may be reversible one. But if these or those type of inflammation is persistent, this persistent process is irreversibly done, and these irreversibly injured the cell which undergo the necrosis process. Examples are some myocardial injury in myocardial infarction. These are very common example of necrosis process. In case of myocardial infarction disease, the myocardial injury we can see, which is a necrosis process. It damage the cell. Now there are some characteristic features of the necrosis. This is a most common cell death in pathological condition, means this is not included within the normal physiological condition. This is very common in case of pathological or any disease condition. This is the most common type of cell death in any disease condition. This is one unprogrammed death of cell and living tissues. This can causing the cell death of any cell or any living tissues, but these are unprogrammed or accidental. Cells undergoing necrosis exhibit swelling. Swelling is occurs in case of these cells which are undergoing the necrosis process, and infiltration of inflammatory cells like WBC or white blood cells, and release of cytokines leading inflammatory reaction on tissues undergoing necrosis. The main mediator of these necrosis process is the inflammation. Just that we have discussed, the external stimuli like the hypoxia or the decreased oxygen supply, ischemia or decreased blood supply, or any infectious agent like the virus, bacteria, or any chemicals. these from the external causing the inflammation within the cell or tissue. These inflammation process causing infiltration of inflammatory cells like WBC and release of cytokines, which are the inflammatory mediators, so that the inflammation reaction occurs within the cell and the tissues, and those are undergoing the accidental or unprogrammed cell death, which is called necrosis. Appearance of tissue undergoing necrosis form different patterns. In case of apoptosis, the apoptotic bodies are formed, but in case of the necrosis, there are several patterns or several forms of the tissues which are undergoing the necrosis. So these are the different morphological patterns like the coagulative necrosis, liquefactive necrosis, gangrenous necrosis, then caseous necrosis, fibrinoid necrosis and fat necrosis. There are different type of morphological patterns, or according to the morphological characteristics, the necrosis can be divided into these different patterns. First is the coagulative necrosis. The preservation of cellular structure features is maintained. The cellular structural features is preserved. Cell death due to the denaturation of protein. These are the key features. Cell death is occurred due to the denaturation of the protein. Then some invading WBC, invading white blood cell, release digestive enzymes to digest the irreversibly injured cells. These are some key features like the cellular structural features is preserved. Cell death occurs due to the protein denaturation, and infiltrating WBCs releasing some digestive enzymes to digest the injured cells. Some examples are hypoxic cell death like the myocardial infarction. In case of myocardial infarction, as we know, there is less oxygen supply within the cardiac muscle. So this hypoxic cell death is an example of this coagulative necrosis. As there is coagulation or the protein denaturation is done, or the main mechanism, so this is called the coagulative necrosis. In case of liquefactive necrosis, the digestion of the dead cell form a viscous liquid mass. The digestion of the dead cell causing a viscous liquid jelly-like structure, so it is called liquefactive necrosis. The cellular framework is totally destroyed. In case of coagulative necrosis, the structural features of cells are maintained, but in case of liquefactive necrosis, the total destruction is done and release of lysosomal enzymes produce the cell digestion. Example is also the hypoxic injury to the cells of central nervous system. In case of central nervous system, the hypoxic injury is an example of this liquefactive necrosis, where the total destruction of the cell is done and the lysosomal enzyme from the cells produce the cell digestion. Then gangrenous necrosis. Gangrene is an infective procedure which causes the damage to the cell or tissue. Ischemic injury is superimposed by infection. Any type of ischemic injury or the injury related to the reduced blood supply is also superimposed by infection, and another infection is there. In dry gangrene, ischemic injury is predominant, and in wet gangrene, the infection is predominant. Then in case of these dry gangrene and wet gangrene, both type of gangrene can be seen in diabetic and cigarette smoker. They are more susceptible to the gangrene. Next is caseous necrosis. Whitish appearance of the central necrotic area, like the casein, like some whitish appearance are occurring in the central necrotic area. This is the combination of coagulative and liquefactive necrosis. This is the combination of these first two, the coagulative necrosis, which is done because of the protein coagulation, and liquefaction, where the total cell destruction is done. This combination causing these caseous necrosis. Example is infection by Mycobacterium tuberculosis or some fungi. Then fibrinoid necrosis. Here the disposition of fibrin in the area of necrosis around the blood vessels we can see. The deposition of fibrin threads in the area of the necrosis around the blood vessels. So its examples are injuries to blood vessel. If the blood vessel is injured, then the fibrin network will be trying to make the clot. So the fibrinoid necrosis is occurring in those type of parts. Then fat necrosis. Fat is related to lipid. So the lipase digest triglyceride esters to release the fatty acid combined with calcium to produce white chalky appearance. In case of acute pancreatitis, we can see that the lipase which digests the triglyceride esters to release the fatty acid, these combine with the calcium to produce some white chalky appearance. This is called the fat necrosis. So the coagulative necrosis, where the protein denaturation is occurring, liquefactive necrosis, where the total destruction of the cell like a liquid is done and the lysosomal enzymes are digesting the degraded cell molecules. Then gangrenous necrosis, there is some another infection apart from any reduced blood supply or ischemia, another gangrene causing infection is there. Then caseous necrosis is the whitish appearance, which is a basically combination of the coagulative and liquefactive necrosis. Fibrinoid necrosis is due to the fibrin in the area of the blood cells. These are the deposition of fibrin network. And fat necrosis is related to the lipase combined with the calcium to produce some white chalky appearance. The lipase is digesting the triglyceride esters or the fat layers or the fat depositions of the cells. So these are the different morphological patterns or morphological classifications or types of necrosis. Now, what the main morphological changes occurring during the cell death? In case of cell death, what type of morphological changes are occurring? Mainly the nuclear changes occurs during the cell death. These can be classified as karyolysis, pycnosis and karyohexis. This is the karyolysis. This is the type of karyolysis where the activation of DNA's activity, the DNA's activities get activated. Degradation of DNA or chromosome or DNA is degraded, and fading of basophilia of chromatin. The chromatin basophilia is faded. The chromatin structure is basically faded out, and this type of karyolysis is occurs in necrosis. In case of necrosis, we can see these type of nuclear changes. Then the pycnosis. Pycnosis is this. Here the shrinkage of nuclear components occurs. DNA condensed to a solid shrunken mask like this. Increase in basophilia of chromatin, and it occurs in the early stage of apoptosis. We can see the pycnosis in case of early stage of apoptosis. Then karyohexis. Karyohexis is this type of fragmented ones, fragmented nucleus, where the pycnotic nucleus undergoes fragmentation. These type of pycnotic nucleus gets fragmented. This is occurs in the late stage of apoptosis. This is like the normal nucleus. In the early stage of apoptosis, we can see these type of pycnotic nucleus, and in case of the late apoptosis, we can see the karyohexis. So these both pycnosis and karyohexis we can see in case of apoptosis, but you can in case of necrosis we can see the karyolysis. The normal nucleus is there, the karyolysis is occurs in case of necrosis, and pycnosis and karyohexis is common in case of this. Karyohexis is common in case of this apoptosis process. Now, what is autophagy? Autophagy is the digestion of the body's own cellular component using the lysosome. Autophagy is the digestion of body's own cellular component using the lysosomes. The degradation of the cytoplasmic components within the lysosome and basal. There are mainly two types of autophagy. Basal autophagy, this is a regular process which is important to maintain the cellular homeostasis, and excessive autophagy is harmful, which causing disease progression. This is the normal components or normal process of the bodies where the body's own cellular components are getting digested by the lysosomes. The degradation of the cytoplasmic components within the lysosome is occurring. This is the autophagy. But in case of the autoimmune disease which occurs, the body is cannot identifying its own component. It's identifying its component as a foreign particle. So these are destroying its own cellular organelles. These are the autoimmune disease. So the excessive autophagy is harmful, which causing the disease progression. But the basal autophagy is important to maintain the cellular homeostasis. The autophagy can be classified into three different types like macrophagy, microphagy, and chaperone mediated autophagy. So, what is the macrophagy? Macrophagy is the main type of autophagy. These are formed double membrane bound vacuole autophagosome which are fused with the lysosome. In case of macrophagy, some autophagosomes are formed with the autophagy materials, a membrane bound structure which is fused with lysosome, and the degradations or digestions occurring. In case of microphagy, the direct uptake of the cytoplasmic components are done by these lysosomal membrane. These are dependent on the GTP hydrolysis and calcium. Then the chaperone mediated autophagy is a specialized type of autophagy where the chaperone or some proteins which assist the folding, unfolding or assembly disassembly of the macromolecular structure with some protein or special motif are attached and then fused with lysosome to undergo the autophagy. Now in this structure we can describe these three type of autophagy in a single picture. Like you can see, these are the materials for autophagy, okay, which is undergoing and processing like a autophagosome. A membrane source is there, some phagophores are there which are forming the membrane bound structure which is called autophagosome. This is a double membrane bound vacuoles. Here these portions which are need to be gone through the autophagy is bound. Then in case of macrophagy, these are fused with the lysosome. These autophagosome is fused with the lysosome and forming the autolysosome. These are fused with the lysosome and permease enzymes are there, and there are also lysosomal hydrolase enzymes in between the lysosome, which is making the phagosome, and then autolysosome is formed. Okay, these are fused with the lysosome and then degradation occurs. But in case of the microautophagy, the lysosome is engulfing the materials for autophagy directly. The materials for autophagy is directly fused with the lysosome. There are no autophagosomes are formed. The materials are directly fused with the lysosome and the lysosomal enzymes are making the autolysosomes and degrading these uh, autophagy materials, or the materials for the autophagy is directly degraded by fusion with the lysosome. The microautophagy, the materials are engulfed by the lysosome itself. There is no autophagosome formation, they are engulfed directly, and then the lysosomal enzymes will form autolysosome and will digest the cellular components. And in case of the chaperone mediated autophagy, here some protein or unfolded proteins are there, some specific motifs are there within the protein which are combined with the chaperones, like HSC70 is a chaperone, and then get fused with the lysosome and forming the autophagy. Okay, so these are the different types of autophagy. Now what are the role of autophagy? What are the role of autophagy within our body? First role is the development and differentiation. After the oocyte fertilization, which is the basic process of the development, which is the fertilization, here the autophagic degradation of oocyte cytoplasmic component and eliminating the apoptotic body during the embryonic development. From the oocyte embryo when developed, the autophagic degradation is done within the oocyte cytoplasmic component for development and differentiation of the egg cells. Next one is the utilization of degradation product. Under the normal condition and short starvation, when we are in a starvation phase, then to maintain the amino acid pool, the utilization of the degraded products are done. Okay, in case of normal or in short type of starvation, we are utilizing our body's own component for nutrient purpose to maintain the amino acid pool. This is also the role of autophagy, to utilize the degraded products. Then elimination of damaged organelles. This is very important for a normal healthy living being to maintain the homeostasis, the intracellular clearance of the damaged or excessive or unintended organelles from the body, where the autophagy plays an important role. Then preventing the development of neurodegenerative disease. Here, eliminating the abnormal intracellular protein aggregates and prevent the Alzheimer's Parkinsonism disease by not depositing these type of protein aggregates, which are the main cause of the Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, the deposition of the protein or the protein amyloid protein aggregation within the brain. So the elimination of these abnormal intracellular protein aggregates can be done by the autophagy. Next is elimination of intracellular pathogens. Whenever our body is invaded or infected by any pathogenic, those bacteria can be destroyed by the autophagosomes and can be degraded. Then immunity. By killing the bacteria or having the power to kill the bacteria or invading microorganism, our body immunity is uh, mainly dependent on the autophagy. Autophagy used to present the endogenous antigen on the MHC, or the major histocompatibility complex class 2. Here the molecules are recognized by the CD4 T cells, and each degrades the endogenous antigens into peptides, which are delivered to the endoplasmic reticulum. These are helping for maintaining our immunity, body immunity. Next is in case of obesity and insulin resistance, also it plays an important role. They are involved, the autophagy process are involved in regulation of the metabolism and in the peripheral tissues. So in case of the hepatic tissues, the metabolism is properly occur due to the autophagy, as we know that the diabetes is a metabolic disorder. So if the hepatic autophagy is reduced, it may lead to obesity and insulin resistance. And in case of cancer also, autophagy acts as a tumor suppressor in the initial stage, as these are eliminating the defective organelles and reduce the oxidative stress and also preventing the DNA damage. So these are playing the important role in the early stage, so that early stage or initial stage in case of tumor procedure. So it's acting as a tumor suppressor, which may lead to the cancer if the tumor is occurring due to some chronic inflammatory procedure. So these are all about today's lecture. In today's class, we have started the topic cell death. What is cell death we have discussed, and the different types of cell death like the necrosis, autophagy and apoptosis. We have discussed about the necrosis and autophagy in today's lecture, and in the next class we will discuss about the apoptosis. So read this out, go through the slides materials very well, and if there is any doubt then please ask me in the next class. There are some questions now from the today's class. First is, what is necrosis? Describe its characteristics. Then describe the morphological patterns of necrosis. What is autophagy? And describe the different types of autophagy. These are the main points from the today's lecture, and another one is the role of autophagy. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. Just go through the slides very well. And if there is any doubt, then please ask me in the next class, where we will be discussing about the apoptosis, another one topic in the cell death. So till then, thank you so much. Thank you for listening.